Namaskar everyone, my name is Shivan Kanti Bala and I welcome you all to Bala Academy. Today I will be covering up a new video session regarding the overview of electrical machine. However, this video will be continued in different set of lectures regarding the electrical machine and its detailed description. But today I will try to wind up the session regarding the overview only, because I want you to understand what actually an electrical machine is and why it is being used in our daily life and what significance it holds in our daily life. So to understand that, I would like to explain you a brief I would like to I would like to give you a brief introduction regarding what actually an electrical machine is. So as I already introduced myself, my name is Shivan Kantibala and I graduated from NIT Rourkela in 2013, and I did my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Currently I'm working with the government of Odisha as an electrical engineer in Odisha Power Transmission Corporation Limited. So let us begin the lecture. So what actually an electrical machine is, to understand that thing, we need to understand what actually the machine is. And machine is nothing but which eases your work. Sorry, let's which eases your work. So anything which actually helps you to ease your work is nothing but a machine. Like if you plow a land, like a farmer plows a land, if it takes 3 days for him, when he use a tractor, it will take hardly 1 day for him. It means he is using a machine what is called as tractor. So a machine actually eases our work in order to save time, money, and give efficient and effective output. So what actually an electrical machine is? Any machines which is either driven by electrical energy or which produces electrical energy is called an electrical machine. So as we already know, that an electrical energy, if we talk about electrical energy, is one of the most significant energy in this world. If you compare any energies in this world, whether it be wind energy, mechanical energy, whether it be solar energy, whether it be nuclear energy, whether it be gravitational energy, electrical energy is actually holds the most holds the top position if we talk about different energies which is present in this universe. Why? Because there are multiple reasons, but out of that I would like to point few. Like the first is it is adaptable in nature. The second is it is controllable in nature. And last but not the least, it is pollution free at consumer premise. So these three are the most important factor why one should always go for electrical energy, and why electrical energy is in the top rank in the energy list. However, most of our work with what we carry out in our daily life deals maximum utilization of this electrical energy, and this particular electrical energy is mostly driven from an electrical machine, whether it be a trimmer which you use to shave your beard, from an water pump which we use to pull the water in your overhead tank, or pump the water in your overhead tank. So electrical machine plays a very significant role in our life. So if you talk about the electrical machine in brief, I would rather differentiate this electrical machine into two parts. First is the AC machines and the DC machines. In DC machines, I would further segregate into generators, DC generators, and DC motors. Now in this generator and motor section, it is segregated into three parts. First is the series motors, the second is the shunt motors, third is the compound motors. Now if you go for the AC machines, first we have the transformers, the second we have synchronous machines, the third we have induction machines, and the fourth we have AC commutation machines. Now there is a special type of machine which is often listed under the electrical machine that I will be discussing further in my video lectures. I would name particularly as special machines. Special machines. So these are mainly different types of electrical machine. If you try to observe, this is actually the different types of electrical machine. So starting with one by one, briefly, today I will be just taking the overview, starting one by one briefly, because further I will be explaining each and every one in a very detailed manner in different lecture sessions. So if you start up from the first, there's the DC machine. DC machines, we all know, in machines we have two parts, the stator part and the rotor part. In DC machine, the stator is called as field, the rotor is called as armature, or we call as armature winding, which also includes the commutator part. Okay, now if I draw a DC machine, it would possibly look like this. This is the armature winding, this is the rotor part, this is the stator part, these are the field poles. Okay, these are the field windings which is used to energize the field and create a magnetic field around it. So this is mainly the structure of an DC machine. So if I energize these field poles using DC supply and try to rotate this armature or this rotor, then it becomes a DC motor. Now if I try to rotate and produce some supply across this armature winding, then it becomes a generator. Similarly, in DC machine, if the field winding is in series with the armature winding, we call this as DC series motor or DC series generator. If the field winding is parallel to armature winding, then it is called as the shunt motor or shunt generator. If the field winding has two parts and one is in series with armature winding and one is in parallel with armature winding, we have one armature winding and two field winding. Such kind of motor is called as compound motor. However, each and every motor will be specifically made you understand in the further lecture notes. Then we will go for the AC machine. So if when I talk about AC machine, the first machine comes is the transformers. So what actually a transformer is? And transformer is an electromechanical device. Which either which is electromechanical device or is an electromechanical converter which transfers energy from one system to another. It means it is mostly used to step up or step down the voltage. So as we are talking about AC machines, so it can be either single phase or three phase. The second kind of machine what I was talking about is the synchronous machine. Now in machines we already know that we have a stator and a rotor. Possibly in synchronous machines the field can either be stator or rotor, but in case of big machines, what we will be talking in most of the cases, In big machines, the rotor is often regarded as to be a field. So if I draw a diagram, now if I consider this to be a rotor and this to be a field, and we have this armature across it, now this will be calling as armature winding, this will be calling as field winding, which is used to energize the system, and this is the prime mover. So if you supply, so if you supply some AC power, and then if the prime mover moves, then it becomes a motor. Now if we move the prime mover and the generation occurs in 3-phase or single phase, then it becomes a generator, regarding as 3-phase generator or single phase generator respectively. Now in most of the cases, the field winding is excited with DC, and the armature winding is used to generate 3-phase AC supply or single phase AC supply, depending upon the requirement of the client or requirement of the consumer. So synchronous generator is often called as the alternator. If I talk about synchronous generator, it is also called as the alternator. Synchronous motor is used maximum in special applications, and this alternator is used for generating electricity in most of the power plants. Next, if we go for the third kind of AC machine, that is the induction machine. Here we often get two types, the single phase and the third phase, depending upon the requirement of the consumer. The third 3-phase is also divided into squirrel cage induction motor and slip ring induction motor, or induction machine, whatever you would like to say. And in most of this kind of induction machine, it is mostly used as a motor, because as the stator is the armature, carries the armature winding, which carries both field current as well as load current. Therefore the rotor speed is often less than the synchronous speed, as a result of which it is mainly used for the motor, and it is efficiently and economically and commercially viable to use it as a motor. When your rotor speed exceeds the synchronous speed, in that case it is called as the 3-phase induction generator. However, it is not commercially popular, but it is used in some cases. I will be explaining you in later classes. So depending upon its construction of the the stator, rotor, the squirrel cage and the slip ring induction motor is explained in, and will be explained in the further classes. The fourth kind of AC machine is nothing but the AC commutation machines. So these are nothing but the special kind of machines, like the 3-phase Scratch motor and the single phase series motor. These are very special kind of machine. Like the 3-phase Scratch motor have a very wide range of speed control and is very reliable, and moreover it has no harmonic generation, unlike the other machines which I have studied earlier. And the 3-phase series motor has a very high starting torque, and but it is very lighter in weight. But the only disadvantage is it has high noise. That is why if you see the applications like swing machine, food processor, vacuum cleaner, the single phase series motors are oftenly used. However, speed and torque can be easily controlled using a single phase voltage controller. Then I have already told you that under the different types of machine, we had one variety called the special machines. Now here I will be just giving you example what the special machine are. like the inductor alternator. Now the inductor alternator is basically used for the eddy current heating. Like we have inductor alternator. Okay. Next we have the power's line, or we had to say the pilot's line, is used for the process industries, like it is used to generate eddy current heating. What I used to say IE, I eddy. Then it is used in paper and steel industries, paper, steel, textile. Then in third we have like AC machines like synchros. We have two-phase control motor. We have tachometers. One of the fourth special machine is like linear motors, which is used in railway tractions and sometimes linear devices. Then we have magnetically levitated motors or machines, which is used in maglev for high speed transports. Then we have dynamometers. We have dynamometers, which is used for speed and torque control. We have reluctance. We have this reluctance motors, which is used for positioning system in the nuclear reactors. Positioning system in nuclear reactors. Then we have hysteresis motor, which is used to drive which is used to basically drive smaller things, like we have these gyroscopes. Then we have stepper motors, brushless DC motors, variable reluctance motor, permanent magnet DC motors. These kind of motors have wide scale of applications, like in very smaller field like computer peripherals, printer, what do you say, VCR, tape recorder, CD player, MP3 system, typewriters. However, electronic technology has surpassed these all things, but previously such motors were widely used. Like stepper motor, sometimes it was used in your car wipers, windshield wipers. Okay. Now the most now these were all the machines, electrical machines, most important electrical machines, because and from here different machines are oftenly drive, but these were the main machines which I have discussed with you, I am discussing with you. Now, in order to get a very efficient operation on a very what do you say, effective mode of operation, we need to understand. Sorry, we need to understand the energy efficiency of electrical machines. So to have an efficient operation in the electrical machine, one should consider two things in his mind. The first thing is the judicious design of these machines, because a good design can give a proper output. And the second thing is the proper matching of what do you say this load and motor combination, proper matching. Try to understand. A good design will oftenly give good output. Why? Because a good design could help you getting good quality of material, which will lead you less losses. And if the losses are less, the output will automatically be more. However, a judicious design can sometimes be very costly or very expensive, but it is also known that an expensive machine can give good quality of output because we are using such kind of expensive materials, or maybe the quantity of material increases in order to reduce these losses in the machines. However, in engineering field, expensive is not always is not a good option. Rather, a good engineer is always called to be a good economist. So we would try to drive an economical kind of operation where the expenses could be as minimum as possible, but the quality of the power won't be compromised. So a judicious design is not only an expensive design. Judicious design is an economical design which won't compromise the quality of the output. Now, if I talk about the efficiency in a technical manner, we all know efficiency is nothing but the output by input. It means output by output plus losses. So, if I try to reduce these losses, the efficiency automatically goes up. Now, in case of power efficiency or electrical efficiency or energy efficiency, these losses are nothing but the I square R losses. We have core losses, we have some frictional and windage losses. So what are these I square R losses? These are nothing but the losses which usually occur in the conductors. So in order to reduce these I square R losses, we need to reduce the current density in the conductor, which will automatically increase the cost of the conductor, because if you try to reduce the current density of the conductor, the area of the conductor has to be increased. Now if the area of the conductor is increased, automatically the weight the weight will be increased, and if the weight is increased, automatically the cost increases. When the cost of the uh, system increases, automatically it becomes expensive for the consumer. So however, we would always try to find an optimum way in order to customize these I square R losses so that we won't compromise the output. Similarly, if we go for the core losses, to reduce the core losses, we need to have lower value of flux density in the air gap. So for that, we need to reduce the core loss per weight in kg. As a result of that, we need to increase the iron weight. If the iron weight increases, automatically the cost increases. Similarly, to reduce the core loss, we need high density or very thinner iron laminations. Similarly, so that we could reduce the eddy current losses. Similarly, for the hysteresis losses, we need high grade of steel. So eventually, it is seen that the if you try to reduce loss in a very greater extent, the cost automatically increases. So it is always judicious to maintain this price as well as the quality balance. So if you go for the frictional and windage losses, we have to design the rotor fans in such a way that the aerodynamics get improvised, and by also to reduce this windage loss, we need to use good quality of bearing. The second most important thing was the proper matching. Now, to drive a 10 kilowatt load, for example, we should always try to use a motor having more than 10 kilowatt of driving efficiency. That in that case, only we could get maximum output, because a motor with more than 10 kilowatt efficiency will anyways have some losses. Now, if to drive a 10 kilowatt load, if I use 1 kilowatt motor, obviously it will try to give 10 kilowatt output, because few of the power from this 11 kilowatt will be getting wasted because of the losses. So the proper matching of this load as well as the motor or any machine is very important in order to get a energy efficient electrical machine. So friends, we have understood what are the different types of machine and how we should actually choose a machine, and a machine what actually a machine requires what we should compromise, what we should not compromise, we all have understood today. Moreover, we have just got some idea regarding the different types of machine which are used in different field of application. I hope it will be very good for you, and I would like to say in further more lectures we will be carrying out our study regarding different kind of machine, taking from transformer, AC machine, DC machine. I hope you keep on subscribing and liking the videos. Please comment if you have any doubt, if I need any kind of improvisation, so that it will be easier for you to understand regarding the overview of machine, and it will actually help me to improvise my area of interest and my way of talking to you or my way of explaining you, so that you can get maximum output from my study. Because I don't want you to capture losses, I don't want you to compromise with the quality of my classes. I want you to be like an energy efficient electrical machines. So you please give a very genuine comment, and very true comments about how can I actually deliver my knowledge to you, so that you can get maximum output and bring out your greatest efficiency in order to understand the electrical machines. That's all for today. Thank you.